Payoff pitch. Strike 3 called. The 0-1 and Metakosh the other way, deep to the gap and gone. As Rittenauer sends it out deep, Metakosh gives the charge and it's gone. Charge gets the sign, the wind, and the 0-2. Strike 3. As this one's chopped up the line, going to be a tough play for Long. Runner comes home to score, and the throw is not in time. Sends this one in the air, right side, back, and that one bounces, and it gets to the wall. DeMoss off to the races. Fesco will score. There comes Vashelia. It's a 2-run double for Joey DeMoss. It's the 4A semifinals here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Number 2 versus number 3. It's the Elizabeth Forward Warriors and the Burrell Buccaneers here in this matchup on MVI Live and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Alex Lyons alongside Jeremy Salou for all the action of this one here this afternoon from Norwin High School in the 4A semifinals.
Yeah, Alex, I think it's hard to say what we're going to get here. I was just looking through some things heading into this one. Burrell only allowed 9 runs all season, so I'm looking forward to see what these two pitchers do. We talked yesterday about, I think the key for Elizabeth Forward this year has been the development of Shelby Tlegde as a pitcher. She's not trying to overpower anybody. She's developed all of her pitches to where she's more mental about how she's pitching on the mound, and she's hitting the spots that Coach Harry Rutherford wants her to hit. So, but you never know. We could end up with an 8-6 game, 8-4 game, or 1-0 again.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to see, especially with these two pitchers. You mentioned about what Tlegde's been able to do. And on the other side of things, with Katie Armstrong coming off a 21 strikeout performance for the Burrell Buccaneers in their quarterfinal victory. You also look at the fact that Armstrong is nearing the 200 strikeout plateau this season, just 2 batters away from reaching that mark here this season. And that's only in 13 games of work.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting to see if this Elizabeth Forward lineup, again, top to bottom, they could all hit. They all got decent averages. It's going to be really interesting to see if they could put the bat on the ball. We saw Belle Vernon was able to put the ball in play against Burrell. They just couldn't squeeze across a run. And Coach Harry Rutherford's hoping they don't have that issue here today against Katie Armstrong.
Yeah, definitely something interesting to watch once we get started versus number 2 and number 3 here this afternoon from Norwin High School. Should be a lot of fun. And the first of 2 here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. As you know, we'll take a look at the starting lineups first for number 3 Burrell. It's going to be Caroline Dinka, the senior shortstop, leading off. Batting second, the junior pitcher, Katie Armstrong. In the 3 spot, the freshman catcher, Bella Stewart. Batting fourth will be Piper Ferris out at second base. Braylon Jones bats fifth. She is the third baseman here today. In the 6th spot, Alana Miller. She is in center fielder, followed by Cassidy Novak in the 7th spot at first base. Abby Larko, the junior, will be in right field, and batting ninth will be Raylan Siebert, the freshman left fielder for the Burrell Buccaneers here this afternoon from Norwin High School.
We'll take a look at Elizabeth Ford's starting lineup. Leading off will be Carly Sukup in right field, followed by Lauren Vey, the center fielder. Shelby Tlegde bats third. She'll do the pitching as we discussed. Grace Smith, the second baseman, will bat fourth. Brooke Markland batting fifth, playing short. Bella Gamiliano batting sixth at first base. Olivia Grimm, the catcher, batting seventh. Madison Best in left field, batting eighth. And Julia Johnson will be the number 9 hitter, playing third base for the Warriors. It's a beautiful day here at Norwin High School. We're starting to feel the heat come off the brown turf a little bit, Alex. It's getting a little warm out.
Hey,
it's a good thing, though.
We got a nice tent cover, too, and in the shade, so
Yeah.
Nothing to complain about here from Norwin here this afternoon on a absolutely gorgeous Wednesday. Softball semifinals in 4A. EF Burrell start us off. Fraser Olsch will finish things off here in the 5 o'clock game, as we'll keep it here for the playing of the national anthem. We come back, we'll have the start of this one right here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
The flag today is at half-staff in honor of those who lost their life yesterday in the tragedy in Texas. Today singing our national anthem, an 8th grader from Norwin, Sienna DeJesus.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Sienna.
Fantastic live rendition of the national anthem here from Norwin as we get set for some softball for a semifinals from Norwin High School, as it's number 2 Elizabeth Forward and number 3 Burrell.
And the other factor we didn't talk about so far, Alex, is the wind. We've got a couple teams here that like to hit the ball over the fence playing today, and that wind's blowing in from center field, so it's going to be interesting to see, how that might affect these teams. Although these teams, when they hit the ball out of the park, they're pretty much no doubters. They're sending them over at a good distance, so we'll see how it goes here. Elizabeth Ford, the home team, the number 2 seed here in the tournament. Burrell will bat first as the visitors in the third base dugout. The number 6 seed, or number 3 seed, sorry, they beat number 6 Bell Vernon in the quarterfinals.
A lot of people thought it could have been another Bell Vernon EF rematch coming into this game. Did not get that. As Shelby Talegdi gets set to send us underway here from Norwin High School. Leading off will be Caroline Dinka, the senior shortstop.
Softball. Leading off for Burrell.
And Dinka was on 3 times in the quarterfinals for the Burrell Buccaneers. The righty digs in against Shelby Talegdi. First pitch by Talegdi, strike 1, 2:58 first pitch here from Norwin.
As somebody who has to write stories, never opposed to a slightly early start.
Dinka digs back in, the shortstop, pitch by Talegdi, a little flare, and Shelby with ease makes the catch, 1 up, 1 down on the P1.
And that's what Coach Harry Rutherford wants to see, some soft contact off of Talegdi. We saw that first pitch came inside, painted that inside corner that Dinka actually turned away from. But if Talegdi's getting that pitch, she's going to be a tough matchup all day.
As here is Katie Armstrong, the junior pitcher, pitch by Talegdi, strike 1. 3 pitches, 3 strikes so far for Shelby Talegdi. 16th straight playoff appearance here for the Burrell Buccaneers. The 0-1 by Shelby Telegdi. That one misses. Count goes even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody on, 1 away.
Yeah, that ball didn't miss by much on the outside. And Telegdi's showing she's not going to be afraid to pound the zone here against the Bucks.
As that one misses inside to Katie Armstrong. The pitch by Telegdi evens things up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Nobody on here in the top of the first inning. First of 2 here from Norwin in the 4A and 2A semifinals. 4A first. The pitch here by Shelby Telegdi. Fills things up. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Nobody on. 0-0 game here. Top of inning number 1.
And Coach Rutherford had a good look at that Burrell Bell Vernon game from center field last week.
As there is a ball to the pitcher, a free pass with 1 out.
Coach Rutherford feels pretty confident that Telegdi could be pretty successful with the trouble Burrell had against Talia Ross, the lefty.
As you see, a courtesy runner coming up in the form of Sterlitz. So Sterlitz will run for Armstrong. One on, 1 out. Chopper off of the third baseman, Johnson. Everybody's going to be safe.
Here we have runners at first and second with 1 out.
First and second, 1 down here. Top of the first, scoreless game. And here's Piper Ferris, the freshman second baseman. Again, just 1 senior here on this Burrell team. Very similar to what we see from Elizabeth Forward senior-wise. They only have 2. That's the middle of their infield with Marklin and Smith. Pitch by the sophomore Telegdi, a little flare out to Brooke Marklin. Puts the squeeze on it for out number 2 on the P6. And the one thing you have to be happy with if you're Coach Rutherford and the Elizabeth Forward Warriors, it's been soft contact all around against Telegdi, something you mentioned at the beginning here. 2 on, but still nothing hit hard off of Shelby.
Right. No worries. Obviously the error on Johnson, but yeah, like you said, nothing really hit hard.
That one misses outside. Ball 1. Telegdi throws to Braylon Jones, the freshman third baseman. 2 on, 2 down, 0-0 your score here in the top of inning number 1. Pitch by Shelby Telegdi. That one misses now. 2-0. Telegdi 160 ERA, 101 strikeouts entering play today. Just 18 earned runs against in 78 2/3 innings of work. But the concerning is 37 total runs scored against Telegdi. That's been EF's killers. This one slapped foul down the third base line as it's now 2-1. And that's the thing. The errors have been what's cost Elizabeth Forward so far this season.
Right, and the other thing is you look at these 2 teams. Look at the competition that has been played throughout the year. Obviously, Burrell, highly successful, but they don't see the murderer's row that Elizabeth Forward sees every year in Section 2.
As Telegdi pulls back even as all 4 teams made the quarterfinals out of that section that Elizabeth Forward is in. Elizabeth Forward took care of West Mifflin. Burrell beat Bell Vernon in 11. York lost in, I believe it was 9.
9 innings, yes.
So it tells you how dominant and good that section is, just unable to get all 3 of those teams to the semifinals.
They could all hit, all great pitchers.
Payoff pitch, other way in the air, and the first baseman, Gamiliano, under it makes the catch on the P3. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 left aboard. No hits, excuse me, and 1 error, and still 2 left aboard after 1/2 inning here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Your score, Burrell 0, Elizabeth Forward coming to bat as we will take a look at the starting lineup once again for the Elizabeth Forward Warriors. Leading off will be the sophomore right fielder Carly Sukup. Batting second, the junior center fielder Lauren Vay. And the 3-spot sophomore pitcher leading the team in long ball, Shelby Telegdi, followed by Grace Smith batting fourth. Batting in the 5th spot will be the senior shortstop Brooke Markland, followed by Bella Gamiliano. Olivia Grimm will be catching. She bats next in the 7th spot. Maddie Best 8th, the sophomore left fielder, and batting 9th will be the freshman third baseman Julia Johnson. So that's Sukup, Vay, Telegdi, Smith, Markland, Gamiliano, and Grimm, Best, and Johnson against Katie Armstrong. 14th game of the season for Armstrong. 198 punch-outs on the air for the Burrell right-hander.
Looking at the defense again for Burrell, Raylan Siebert in left, Alana Miller in center, Abby Larco in right, Braylon Jones at third, Caroline Dinka at short, Piper Ferris at second base, Cassidy Novak at first, and Bella Stewart doing the catching for Katie Armstrong.
And full coverage of this game and the second 2 games here in tomorrow's edition of the Mon Valley Independent. Award-winning photographers here for both
Absolutely.
games.
We'll have great coverage of this one and the next one.
Yeah, just got to pump Jeff's ego a little bit, sitting right in front of us. As here's Carly Sukup, 3 long balls, 8 runs batted in, a .429 hitter for the Elizabeth Forward Warriors. As Sukup digs in against the right-hander. Armstrong rocks and deals. First pitch, strike 1 to Carly Sukup from Katie Armstrong. Pitch to Sukup. Outside as the count pulls even. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody on, nobody out here in the bottom of the first in a 0-0 game.
Armstrong getting the signal called from the bench here.
Big swing and a miss there by Sukup. Count goes 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out, nobody on here in the bottom of the first inning. The 1-2 by Armstrong. Foul tip off the backstop. Count stays put. As Armstrong looking to pick up right where she left off. Again, struck out 21 batters in the quarterfinal win against the Bell Vernon Leopards. But Burrell did strike out 17 times in that game against Talia Ross.
Yeah, the thing is, I was going to say that they were only +4 in the strikeout total there.
Foul tip again as Sukup spoils another. Carly Sukup, also a volleyball player for the Warriors from Elizabeth Forward. Pitch home to Sukup. As struck her out looking. As picking up right where she left off last game will be Armstrong. There's 199 at the strikeout department this season.
Sukup go over to Lauren Vay and let her know what she sees in the box. And
that was a nasty pitch.
It's a nasty pitch. I thought might have been a little low, but every umpire's a little different on their strike zone, and any coach just wants consistency there. That's all. Vay choked up about 2 inches on the bat as she entered the box. Hit the knob of the bat. Foul ball.
Back in here is Vay. 467 on the season for the right-hander. Pitch home. That one misses. 1-2 now to Lauren Vay.
Just off that inside corner.
One ball, 2 strikes, pitch home by Armstrong. as that one misses DeVay. Warren pulls even 2-2, 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the first. Two. Vay swing and a miss there. Strikeout number 200 on the season. That's a pretty good feat.
Pretty hefty total considering you only play, 20 games?
This is only her 14th.
Yeah, her 14th game, so. Now it'll be Telegdi, who we know what she can do with the bat in her hand.
Takes strike one.
And the one thing I'm sure you'll see is, especially in the playoffs when you're playing unfamiliar teams, once you hit that second time through the order is when you'll start to see some better contact on the ball.
Pitch to Telegdi, fouled off. Two outs, nobody on, 0-2 on Shelby Telegdi. The pitch home to Telegdi, and Telegdi in the air, other side of the infield on the right side. The first baseman ranging in, that's Novak. She will make the catch to end the inning on the P3. So it ends the top and the bottom of the first. Pop outs to the first baseman. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no Warriors left the board. We've played one full inning here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason. Here on the Triple Live High School Sports Network, your score, Burrell and EF knotted up at 0.
Life is full of surprises. Some good, some not so good. It's why your State Farm agent is there with good neighbor service and surprisingly great rates for everyone. Yep, that's right. At State Farm, you get great service and great rates with every policy, so you can be prepared for all life's surprises. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. When you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Brian Warnick in Perryopolis today at 412-668-0111.
Back here from Norwin High School, one inning in the book. We are scoreless between Burrow and Elizabeth Forward as we've reached the top of inning number 2, as the Buccaneers will have Alana Miller, Cassidy Novak, and Abby Larco do up this inning, as that's 6, 7, and 8 in the order against Shelby Telegdi. First pitch. Left side foul. As Telegdi steps back in. No balls, one strike, nobody on, and nobody out. Scoreless game here. Top of the second. Telegdi rocks and fires a little nubber, and that one's foul down the right side for strike 2.
I think she was kind of trying to, like a hybrid bunt there down that first baseline. See the long legs on Miller. Probably doesn't take her many strides to get down there.
Pitch by Telegdi. Swing and a miss. Shelby Telegdi, her first punch out of the game. 1 up, 1 down here in the top of the second as Shelby Telegdi strikes out Miller. And here comes Cassidy Novak, the junior first baseman, for the number 3 seeded Burrell Buccaneers. Winner of this game most likely gets number 1 Beaver, barring any unforeseen circumstances. That one's fouled off, but they will get the winner of number 1 Beaver, number 5 Montour, because you got to play the games for a reason. But
absolutely,
Peyton List, not an easy girl in the circle to beat.
Not at all.
The 0-1 by Shelby Telegdi. Up high, count goes even. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. Top of the second inning. As digging back in here is Novak. Pitch by Telegdi. That one misses. Grimm held a second longer, hoping for the strike call. It would not come. Pitch by Telegdi, swing and a miss, evens things up at 2-2, 1 out, nobody on. Shelby Telegdi looking for her second straight strikeout here. This one would be against the right-hander, Cassidy Novak. Pitch by Telegdi. That one's fouled off again by Novak as it ricochets back out towards the sophomore pitcher.
And they're definitely making her work, up to 24 pitches already.
See if Telegdi decides to pull the strings or something like that on Novak here with the 2-2 count. Rocks and deals. Struck her out looking. Back-to-back Ks for Shelby Telegdi. And 2 up, 2 down, and here comes Abby Larco.
Yeah, great pitch there, tailed away from Novak there on the outside corner. Caught the black and gets the call.
As Larco will dig in. First trip to the dish for Larco, the junior right fielder. Pitch on by Telegdi, swing and a miss. There's strike one on Larco as Telegdi now not wasting any time.
After 1 inning, Beaver leads Montour 1-0. Looks like we're passing love letters in high school there from Jose there.
I'm sure Jose passed some love letters in the building behind us. Of course, his alma mater here at Norwin.
Count even up at 1-1.
As digging back in is Larco. The 1-1 by Telegdi. Little flare foul down the first base line.
Off the foot of the first base coach. He kicked it into Jamiliano and back to Telegdi. See if she can strike out the side here.
Rise up high, misses. As digging back in here is Larco. 2-2, fouled off. I get a piece of Grimm or a home plate umpire.
I think got both. Got Grimm in the side of the mask, the shoulders. Umpire dust off the pellets from the plate and give her a minute. I want to say I think it glanced off the shoulder.
Two by Telegdi. Swing and a miss. Shelby Telegdi strikes out the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left aboard. 1, 2, 3 go the Buccaneers in the top of the second. Elizabeth Ford will look to strike first as we head to the home half of inning number 2 right here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network here in the 4A semifinals. Winner will take on the winner of number 1 Beaver, number 5 Montour. That game will be played June 2nd at Cal U, the home of the softball playoffs, of course, baseball championships, which will feature one of our local teams in Sarah Catholic. That will be at Wild Things Park.
It should be a good time. Looking at the weather for Sunday through Thursday, nothing less than 80 degrees. And Tuesday for that 1:30 p.m. start, we're looking at a high of 89 and nothing but sun in the sky. So
yeah, definitely looking forward to that game.
Definitely
for the Eagles.
Forward to it.
Sarah Catholic looking to do the first of their 2 main goals that's left this season. First pitch in the air. Right side, ranging back. Ferris, and it drops, and there goes Smith hustling for second. She's in, safe throw, gets into left and gets away. Grace headed for third, and here comes Grace, and she stops there.
Thought maybe we get that Little League home run. But that's definitely a hit. Didn't hit anybody, but then we got 2 errors. 1 error on the play.
2 base error.
2 base error, yeah. 1 error, 2 bases.
Single and an E9.
I was gonna ask who threw that. It was the right fielder.
And here comes Markland now. 12 runs batted in this season for the senior. Brooke trying to give her team an early 1-0 lead, fouls it off.
And this is exactly the situation as to why Coach Rutherford put Markland in the number 5 spot. Usually we'd see her up there batting lead off or second in the order.
The way Sukup and Vey have hit it, it's made his life a lot easier being able to move Markland down the lineup As the pitch on by Armstrong, and that was a beauty.
Yeah, that one was that
Froze
strike.
the senior shortstop. 0-2 the count here on Brooke Markland. Runner at third, nobody out, nothing game, bottom of the second. Armstrong toes the rubber, rocks and fires home to Markland. Up high, count goes 1-2 as Markland and the Warriors looking to strike first.
And that's one thing that Coach Rutherford has to be happy about, and he said one of the keys was going to be them laying off that rise ball. And Markland held it up there, knowing Armstrong had a pitch to waste with an 0-2 count.
Pitch on by Armstrong. That one
Just
misses as
missed.
well. Tough take there by Markland.
Yeah. Very tough.
Still nobody out, runner at third. That is Grace Smith, the senior. The other senior on this lineup at the dish, and Brooke Markland trying to drive home the first run of the game. Markland in the air. Out to shallow left. And that
Drops.
one drops down. Smith comes in to score. Markland hustling all the way,
Double and
gets the
another
second.
error.
And Markland will go to third.
She's going to score.
Here comes Brooke, rounding throw is up the line. An RBI double, and on the error, Brooke Markland makes it 2-0. Elizabeth forward.
Another soft fly ball cost the Bucks.
So an RBI double for Markland, and on the error comes home to score.
Yeah, that was a... I mean, no reason you weren't going to get Markland there at second base. Yeah, Siebert with the error.
Thank you.
You weren't going to get Markland, so no need to fire it like that. Just get the ball into the infield. And I think that's what Coach went out there and told him, just settle down. Let's not throw the ball around. I seen it last week or earlier this week. Game Frazier was throwing the ball around, and it cost them against Seton LaSalle.
Now here's Bella Gamiliano. 283. Bella's knocked one out of the yard this season. That was in a very big game for the Warriors earlier against Yock, swinging a miss, strike one. That at the point made it 2-0 and was the final run scored on the start of that day.
Yeah.
Of course, we went and finished that later.
A month later. Almost exactly a month, right? 31 days or something.
I think that was the
The
SA
7th
game.
and 8th. Oh, yeah, that's right. the
SA
game.
Sarah game. I think this was like a week, but still. Count goes 1-1. And I like the approach here for EF, coming up patient with Gamiliano after you've played it two already. Sometimes that's all Shelby Telegdi needs. Burrell got to find a way.
I will apologize. I might have jinxed him asking about the Little League home run, and then we get one 2 pitches later.
1-1. Foul tip to the backstop. Count goes 1-2 on Bella Gamiliano.
Yeah, I'm not even sure she really fouled that off. I think Stewart just missed it off the top of the mitt.
One ball, 2 strikes, pitch home. Rice swing and a miss. Armstrong bounces back to punch out Bella Gamiliano for out number 1. Third punch out of the day for Katie Armstrong. You know, Jeremy, I've made the conclusion, though, after this year, I'm not going back to Plum.
No.
It rains every time I go there. I'm just not going back to Plum. Every other day of the playoffs has been great weather, besides the days I've been at Plum.
Plum is a beautiful facility, but especially for us down in the valley, there's just no easy way to get there. It's just one of those drives that just seems like it goes on forever.
Either you got to go I always go Turnpike, and I come home through Monroeville when I'm not in as much of a rush. But this is a nice, easy drive up to Norwin for us.
It is very easy.
And it's a beautiful facility for this game and a beautiful day for it, as there's a strike there on Olivia Grimm. Grimm, she really broke onto the scene, was in a competition role for this starting job behind the dish, and it was more or less that she was tied up with basketball and the run that team was making for Elizabeth forward and got it into here late. But once she got here, she took reins of that catcher position, and she has not looked back, as swing and a miss, back-to-back Ks after the 2 runs.
Yeah, it seems like Armstrong has settled in, and 3 pitches, 3 strikes for Olivia Grimm.
Here's Maddie Best. 186, one long ball, 4 runs batted in. Just, great to see Maddie playing.
Yeah. Yeah, after that hit she took from the top of the fence in Belle Vernon, it's good to see her out there.
Takes strike 1. And it wasn't that long.
No, she was back within, I think, a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
About 10 days.
Nothing.
And I saw the trainer from Elizabeth Ford showed me the photo that she had got sent. And it was a nasty-looking injury.
As that one misses on the right-handed hitting sophomore left fielder, Maddie Best. We talked about the beginning of the year. I think Jose and I did when we saw Yock play EF to start the season. We said EF next year was going to probably be what Yock was this year.
Yeah.
Instead of what it was, that became as a swing and a miss for strike 2. It took half a season for EF to become what Yock was this year and surpass that. This is a team, with just 2 seniors. You lost a lot in Larcenies, Resnick, and all of them.
Right.
And you thought, okay, they're going to need a rebuilding year. Now it was a rebuilding like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was half a year. Coach Rutherford, that's what happens when you have a program. You build up and work hard in the off season and get on the field in the spring, which who knows how that could have even been elevated had the weather been a little bit better. Not many non-section games for any of our teams.
Rise and unable to hold back was Maddie Best. So 2 runs coming to score on the first 2 batters of the inning, then 3 straight Ks for Katie Armstrong. Talk about bouncing back, but after 2 full innings, your score, the Warriors 2 and the Buccaneers nothing, right here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Are you looking for stress-free car shopping at its finest? Well, then Davies Ford of Charleroi is the place for you. Located 728 McKean Avenue, Davies Ford has something for everybody with a wide selection of models from Ford. So come let us get you in that new car today at Davies Ford of Charleroi.
To get the Ford you want only with the greatest of ease. Pull on down to Davies.
9-1-2, Raylan Siebert, Caroline Dinka, and Katie Armstrong due up for Burrell. Shelby Telegdi in the most important spot out of anybody, I think, on this EF roster right now, and that's you got to find a way to put up a 0 after the crooked number went on in the home half of the second.
Absolutely. You put up a 0 here. I think I just threw a spider at you, sorry.
That's okay.
You put up a 0 here, then not that the Burrell's not feeling pressure right now to come in and answer back, but you put up a 0 here as you get into these later innings now. That pressure increases, and you never know what can happen.
As digging in here is Raylan Siebert, the freshman. Last time Burrell was in the semifinals was back in 2011 as a little flare. Right side out of play for strike 1. That was the same year they won the 2A championship, 3-1 over Greensburg Central Catholic. They would go on to lose in the state semifinals to Phillipsburg Osceola, 5-0. Pitch by Telegdi. That one fouled off. Count now 0-2 on the right-handed hitting freshman left fielder. Telegdi, the 0-2. Rise, swing and a miss. There's 4 in a row for Shelby Telegdi.
Yeah, right now Telegdi going toe-to-toe with Miss Armstrong.
As back up top, here is Caroline Dinka. She was on base 3 times in the quarterfinals. Walk, single, and a hit by pitch popped out to Telegdi early on in this one. Only senior on this Burrell roster, committed to play at the next level at IUP. Said fell in love with IUP after going to a camp there and getting there for a visit. Always wanted to play at the next level, and IUP felt like home. Back to Telegdi. Telegdi on to Gamiliano. 2 up, 2 down. 1-3. And now 7 in a row retired here by Shelby Telegdi.
And again, soft contact, but we've even seen it with Armstrong. I mean, Elizabeth Ford, you know, they didn't hit the ball exactly hard either. I mean, it's going to look good in the book and on the stat sheet and in the story tomorrow.
As the other way, that one foul for strike one on Katie Armstrong. Walked and was stranded at second in her first AB.
Yeah, but as I was saying, that single and double might look good on paper, but I mean, seeing it here live, not hard hit off of Armstrong, but you know, the errors have really hurt the Bucks. Put them down in a 2-0 hole.
Pitch by Talegdi in there, misses for ball one. As that one out to second. Markland make that Smith on to Gamiliano in time for out number 3. So a strikeout and 2 groundouts end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. As that is now 8 in a row retired by Shelby Talegdi. And after 2.5 here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Your score, EF 2, Burrell nothing as we go to the bottom of inning number 3. And, you know, a week from tomorrow, or a week from Friday, had to move it back a day.
Yeah.
MVI SBL Girls Summer League Draft.
Yeah, last day to register is Friday at noon. The registrations for the girls cut off. And speaking of the Summer League, shout out to Mr. Rodney Gallagher to WVU.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sorry about that.
No.
Toes, but
I like it. It worked. You knew exactly what I was thinking.
yeah.
But any surprise there from you?
No. I mean,
I kind of figured the whole way.
Texted with our buddy Casey McIntyre. He's well known there, being from Uniontown, a half hour up the road. Supposedly there's some NLI money in it for him, you know, being a local star like that. But, you know, I mean, congratulations to him. Good for him. I mean, heck of an athlete.
Pitch by Johnson, swing and a miss, strike one. As new left fielder in the game for Burrell. As Siebert out, Sterlitz in. Pitch home by Armstrong. Strike in there on Julia Johnson, the freshman. Third baseman batting .346, 8 runs batted in. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, 3 straight pitches, 3 straight strikes, and 4 Ks in a row for Katie Armstrong. She sets down Johnson.
This is usually when Elizabeth Ford starts getting the better contact on the ball here as they get through the second time through their lineup. See if Suka can do something against Armstrong.
Carly sent 3 over the fence today, and she was looking to send another one there with that swing as she chases their eyes for strike one.
Coach Rutherford just shaking his head there. Remember when I said they were doing a good job of laying off that rise ball? Not so much now.
The sophomore awaits the pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-2. And, you know, we have a great advantage of that. It is a very tempting looking pitch coming in.
It is.
That's why Armstrong is such a dominant strikeout pitcher for Burrell this season. Toes the rubber. The righty rocks and fires to Carly Sukup. Swing and a miss, 3 straight rises. 5 straight strikeouts for Armstrong. Here in the bottom of the third, she's up to 7 Warrior punch-outs, and here comes Lauren Vey. She was a strikeout victim in the first as well. Vey leads the team in runs scored with 29, has walked a team-high 12 times as well. Bunt shown, and it's up to first. Novak on to the second baseman covering, but Ferris can't squeeze it.
I'm going to call that an E4. Ferris hit it right in the glove. Had it. And good bunt by Vey, and she was able to get past the first baseman on her way up the line.
And you never want to give EF extra outs, especially when it's Talegdi, Smith, and Markland with a possibility of coming up. Talegdi can easily turn that little error into 2 runs with 1 swing of the bat. Shelby's done that 7 times this year. Strike 1 on Talegdi. Talegdi back in. The 0-1 by Armstrong. Talegdi skies it up left side. Ranging over is Jones, and she will make the catch in foul territory to end the inning on the P5. So the error does not come back to hurt Burrell. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 Warrior left stranded. 3 errors in the game so far for Burrell. That has led to 2 Warrior runs, and after 3 full innings of work here this afternoon, your score, the Warriors 2, the Buccaneers nothing here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Hey, Jim Shorkey here. Just a reminder, if you haven't signed up for the Goal Achiever Challenge yet, please do right now. Don't procrastinate. Jump right on this. Just do it. Get it done. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So make sure you sign up for the Goal Achiever Challenge and check out Jim Shorkey's Pragmatist podcast. To check out that podcast and for more information, visit resultsfromthinking.com.
Back here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Shelby Talegdi back to work against the Burrell Buccaneers here in the top of the 4th inning. It's going to be Bella Stewart, Piper Ferris, and Braylon Jones, 3 freshmen, due up here at the heart of the Burrell order, 3, 4, and 5. Not the only team we're going to see today with 3 freshmen back to back to back.
Yeah. The Fraser Commodores feature three freshmen in their infield.
They also feature 3 freshmen with batting averages over 300.
Yeah.
Every single one.
This game moving right along, though. We're in the top of the 4th inning already.
Swing and a miss. Strike 1 there on Bella Stewart, the freshman catcher. Elizabeth Ford last year, this is where their season came to an end. Not this exact venue, but this spot in the playoffs to Highlands. As there's a little grounder out the 3rd. The freshman Johnson to Camiliano in time. 1 up, 1 down on the 5-3. That was at Peters Township's Peterswood Park, site of both 4A semifinals last year. Beaver beat West Mifflin. And then it was a moved up game due to weather coming.
Yeah,
so it was a
coming.
whole train wreck of a
There was a lot
day.
going on
And then Highlands was able to beat the Elizabeth Forward Warriors.
in the last inning. Elizabeth Ford winning in the last inning, winning. I think they scored in the top of the 7th, and then Elizabeth Ford couldn't get back on top in the bottom.
I think Highlands was up early. EF came back to tie, I believe, and then as that one's out left side, foul territory for a strike, if I'm not mistaken. The reason some of those thoughts are a little fuzzy about that, I did both games last year with Lanny Fateri, and I'll tell you, moving up games and getting on the air late, Lanny is not going to be a happy individual.
No, he wasn't happy.
We had a rough day at the office, me and him, but we got over there. Highlands was winning, and I know, they had a chance late, just unable to move on, and now they're looking to do that this year, trying to get back to the WPIO championship game. They won the 2019 one where they beat Mount Pleasant 3-0. Lost in the state championship that year to West Perry 3-2. They beat Mount Pleasant again that year. That was in the semifinals 2-1. The 1-1 by Shelby Talegdi. That one fouled off. Now it's 1-2 on the right-handed hitting freshman second baseman Piper Ferris. Popped out to Markland out at short. First trip to the plate. Talegdi. The 0-2. A little flare foul off the backstop. Count stays put at 1-2 on the right-handed hitting freshman second baseman Ferris.
Yeah, that one was right in on the hands. She caught right above the handle there on that foul ball.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. 2-0 Warriors lead here at top 4. As that one misses outside to even things up on the freshman second baseman Piper Ferris. 5 times this year the Warriors have shut out their opponents. Most recently, if I'm not mistaken, and I can just go back and look, it was the Yawk Cougars in that 5-0 game as this one's grounded out to short. Marklin on to Gamiliano in time for out number 2.
That was the hardest ball we've seen hit off at Tuskegee so far. Just happened to be right at Marklin.
So how about this, Jeremy? The last 4 outs, ground out to the pitcher, ground out to the second baseman, ground out to the third baseman, ground out to the shortstop for Burrell. So does this mean a little ground out to Olivia Grimm, let all the infield get into it?
Maybe.
Or maybe over to Bella Gamiliano. First pitch, strike 1 on Braylon Jones, the freshman third baseman. That last Warrior shutout was the 5-0 game versus Yawk. Pitch by Tuskegee. That one's lined out to center, and that one's quickly cut off by Vey. Gets it in, holding it to a single. Great job there by Lauren Vey.
So that was a great play defensively, especially it's a little bit different in the outfield because the outfield here is still grass. So that ball kind of skipped. And how many times have we seen balls hit that hard, skip past those outfielders?
That was a rocket off the bat of the freshman Braylon Jones. As here comes Alana Miller, the junior center fielder, struck out swinging. First pitch, strike 1 there by Shelby Tuskegee. Miller not a fan. We talked about those long legs for Alana Miller as she digs back in. As that one misses inside to even up on the junior center fielder, Alana Miller.
Yeah, they're going to make Miller adjust here. Anytime you have a tall opponent, there tends to be a little hole in the swing. I think that's what Tuskegee and Coach Rutherford are kind of aiming for.
As Miller goes chasing 1-2.
Look it up.
As meeting at the circle as Miller goes to talk with her coach up the third base line. As Tuskegee gets a tap from her freshman catcher. Grimm high fives around. The conclave breaks. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 on, 2 outs for Alana Miller. Winner into the state playoffs as well. Loser will have to battle their way in like South Allegheny in 3A will have to do after that loss yesterday. Back up, there's Tuskegee Gamiliano. 1-3 retirement of Alana Miller to end the inning, no runs. Burrell got their first hit of the game, but it's left stranded aboard. And after 3.5 here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Triple Live High School Sports Network, your score EF 2, Burrell nothing. As going back to talking about the state playoffs here, Jeremy, winner gets in, loser will have to play. Right now, it's Montour who is losing, so if that holds up, it would be Montour for a spot in the state playoff game. Elizabeth Ford, they were in the state playoffs a season ago as they lost in the semis to Highlands, beat West Mifflin 6-4 in the third place game, and then lost in the state quarters 5-3 to Beaver, giving Beaver one of their probably better games of the season. EF. So they've been in the state playoffs recently. It's been a while for Burrell. Burrell has not been in the state playoffs since 2011. That was when they made it to the semifinals after winning the WPIAL championship. That was the second of back-to-back championship appearances for those Burrell Buccaneers. First pitch fouled off.
Smith way ahead of that changeup there.
Grace Smith, a single, advanced to third on the throwing error on the E9. But EF, they've done a great job on the base pass here in this game. It reminds me a lot of how Joey DeMoss got aboard earlier this week. A little bloop and heads-up base running put him at second base on a ball that barely left the infield.
Yeah.
The 1-1 to Grace Smith. Outside. You know, we talked about the future is now for EF. You know, when we thought it'd take a while, maybe the future's now for the Pirates as well. Cal Mitchell, he's been hitting the cover off the ball since coming up.
We talked about that yesterday at our podcast.
Ronzi yesterday.
Yeah, they're-
I just got the notification that, you know, he knocked in a double to bring home a run, and it's just like, you know what? It's nice to see young players performing coming up. Don't see that too often for the Pirates.
Right.
You are used to seeing it for teams like Elizabeth Forward, though, and Burrell.
Absolutely.
Swing and a miss as the senior Smith has it blown by her. Count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on, nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2-0 Elizabeth Forward on top of Burrell. Again, Burrell, they've scored 1 run here this postseason. Grounder, left side, shortstop Dinka on to Novak in time for out number 1. As Grace Smith retired on the 6-3, here comes Brooke Markland, doubled. Holmes Smith came around to score on the throwing error on that Little League home run.
Little League homer.
Pitch home. Outside, ball 1 to Brooke Markland. Only 2 batters to reach this game, besides Vey, who reached on an error in the 3rd. Only 2 batters to get a hit, I should say, for EF came around to score back in that 2nd inning. As Armstrong pulls the strings on that one, goes 2-0 on Brooke Markland.
Good discipline there by Markland to lay off that pitch.
Markland, great basketball player here at EF, team that made it also to the semifinals.
Yeah, and she played in the Round Ball Classic this past weekend.
As it's 3-0 now on Brooke Markland. See if Coach Rutherford gives his senior the green light or has her keep the bat in the shoulder. Base runners have come at a premium today. Just 3 for the Warriors here in the 4th inning.
Markland's one of those base runners, too, that she could be a problem when she's on the bases. So
3 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. 2-0 Warriors lead, bottom 4. Pitch to Markland, fills it up at 3-2.
the Fraser Commodores have arrived. I see their bus pulling in back there. They'll be up next against Our Lady of the Sacred Heart.
As Markland stays alive, count stays full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. 2-0 EF leads here, bottom of the 4th inning. MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network.
Definitely not the matchup we thought we'd see in the semifinals in the 2A bracket.
Maddie Griffin injuring that throwing hand, definitely taking Ligonier Valley in a path they did not expect to be in this postseason. Losing to Bentworth.
Yeah.
Osh took care of business with ease against the Bearcats. Frazier hammered Apollo Ridge, then lost to, or almost blew a game and lost to Seton LaSalle, as Markland out to left, and under that one to make the catch is Sterlitz. 2 up, 2 down on the F7.
Yeah, they
First outfield flyout recorded either side here in this game. And we're in the bottom of the 4th, either side, that is.
Yeah.
First ball to reach an outfielder for an out. Swing and a miss, strike 1 to Bella Gamiliano. The junior first baseman steps back in. 1 long ball this season. Gamiliano struck out first time by against Armstrong. Swing and a miss, 0-2. As Armstrong blows it past the right-handed hitting first baseman.
Now, if you're Gamiliano, what are you going to see here? Will you see the changeup or will you see the rise? I'm going to say it's going to be the rise.
That's what Armstrong's lived with here in this one. There it is. Swing and a miss. Gamiliano down on strikes again. 3 up, 3 down, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board through 4 innings. It's EF 2, Burrell nothing. 8 Ks so far for the junior, Katie Armstrong, as we move to inning number 5. As Burrell, they're starting to run out of chances. Shelby Telegdi going to look to continue to keep the soft contact coming. Here in inning number 5, she'll face 7, 8, 9, Novak, Larko, and Siebert. Actually, that will be Sterlitz, unless we see a re-enter who came in replacing Siebert.
Wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we've seen it many times.
As Telegdi loosening back up for the Elizabeth Forward Warriors.
So I must say that the Pittsburgh Pirates have put up 8 runs in the last 3 innings to go up big on Colorado. How about Jack Sawinski with his 5th home run of the year today?
He's been up. He hasn't been too bad for skipping AAA.
Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of Rodolfo Castro. He's either hitting home runs or not doing anything else.
Right,
But he's
right.
been a really good defender as well. Both these teams have been great defenders. As bunt shown by Novak, pulled back, and she slaps that one over the head of the leaping Smith. It's a leadoff single out to right for the junior Novak. Second hit of the game off Shelby Telegdi. 1 on, nobody out, 2-0 Elizabeth Forward on top here in the top of the 5th.
So it looks like the Bucks have found their timing on Telegdi. We'll see how she makes any adjustment now.
We haven't seen her mix a ton of her pitches
No.
yet, and you know she has the ability to do so, but if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Bunt shown, fouled off the backstop, strike 1.
Largo kind of threw the bat at that ball.
The junior right fielder just steps back in after a few practice swings. 2 versus 3, shot in the 4A championship on the line. Bunt shown, stab back to Telegdi. Telegdi out to Smith at first, and it's a sacrifice executed to perfection by the Buccaneers 8-hole hitter Abby Larko. 1-4 sack bunt, moving Novak to second.
The Bucks finally have a runner in scoring position here.
Second one today, as that's first pitch strike by Teleg. The other one was in the form of Sterlitz, the courtesy runner for Katie Armstrong back in inning number 1, who reached on a walk, moved to second on the E5. But it was cleaned up quickly by Telegdi. Rice swing and a miss, 0-2. Be a perfect time for another Telegdi strikeout if you're Elizabeth Forward.
Especially with Dinka in the top of the order coming up next.
Dinka has sent 2 balls back to Telegdi. 1 popped up, 1 grounded out on this turf here at Norwin. Pitch by Telegdi, swing and a miss. Another punch out for Shelby Telegdi. Up to 5. First one since out number 1 in the 3rd inning for Shelby Telegdi. See her rosin that hand up. Got a better grip on the ball. It's almost more like for Telegdi, she doesn't want the rosin there just to get the sweat off.
Right.
You see it completely almost being wiped off on her pants before she grips and fires. Grounder out to short. Markland to Gamiliano in time. Another ground out by Dinka. She was on base 3 times in the quarter. She's not got a ball out of the infield here in the semis. No runs, another Buccaneer hit, no errors, and 1 Buck left stranded. They've left 4 stranded through 5 innings of play here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason here on the Trib Live High School Sports Network in the 4A semifinals. Winner will play June 2nd at California versus either number 1 Beaver or number 5 Montour. And just a reminder for all of our viewers and listeners out there that this game and the broadcast rights to this game are the sole and exclusive property of the WPIAL and the Trib Live High School Sports Network. Any use of this game is intended exclusively for the benefit of the viewing and listening audience, and any broadcast redistribution of this broadcast without the express written consent from the WPIAL and Trib Total Media is strictly prohibited.
Get the laptop out of the sun here. Let's creep it in, but you could definitely, you mentioned the sweat for Tulegny, but you could definitely feel the heat coming off that turf now.
Olivia Grimm leads things off, takes ball one up high as it's Grimm, Best, and Johnson due up against Katie Armstrong. One ball, no strikes, nobody on, nobody out. As Grimm in the air, left side, and that one's going to get the hillside and the fans for strike one on the freshman Olivia Grimm. Also, big shout out to everyone here at Norwin. Great hospitality. Got us a nice tent. Table set up right off to the left of the windscreen. Last year when I was here, I had to do games through the back of it, so very appreciative of that.
Yeah, the windscreen sometimes isn't the best to look through. This one's not too bad. Has a year under its belt. It's a little weathered.
2-1, Grimm the other way in the air, foul. Over the Warrior dugout, count goes even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on and nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Winner gets number 1 Beaver, number 5 Montour in the 4A championship game. EF trying to get back for the first time since 2019 after losing in the semis a year ago. Burrell trying to get back for the first time since 2011. As that one skied up, left side and out of play again. And if we're in Savannah, that's an out. Fan on the hillside making the grab.
And of note for the next game, the winner will meet Neshannock, a 1-0 winner over Laurel. So,
if Fraser wins, I'm sure Donnie Hartman will be glad it's no longer Laurel.
And somebody's O will have to go if Fraser gets there. Both teams undefeated on the season.
Something about those Lawrence County teams. As having to hold back was Grimm, got contact on it, but on the first goes Armstrong on the swinging bunt. 1-3 put-out of Olivia Grimm. And Grimm thought she was getting the heat, pulling the strings and slowing it down. There was Armstrong. All she could do was stop her bat in the middle of the zone and lucky to even make contact.
Yeah, but you know what? You never know. The way Burrell was throwing the ball around a little bit today, you take your shot, hustle down the line, and you never know what'll happen.
Pitch by Armstrong, swing and a miss by Maddie Best. Struck out swinging back in inning number 2. One of 8 strikeout victims for Katie Armstrong today. She did strike out 21, but that was in, again, 11 innings. That's still a lot either way. Bunt shown, fouled off.
That Neshannock Laurel game was in the walk-off in the bottom of the 8th inning. Neshannock scores the game-winning run. Winning pitcher Addie Fry, RBI double to bring in the winning run. I'll tell you what, Neshannock, they're winning in every sport.
Yeah, they're going to be taking on Sarah Catholic in the baseball as well. So it could be 2 Lawrence County
the second
2 Lawrence County Mon Valley matchups in the championship games.
That's the second Neshannock Sarah Catholic WPIAL. Well, not this year, but last year was a Neshannock Sarah Catholic WPIAL championship in girls basketball. And obviously Neshannock won it again. Neshannock won the state title this year in the basketball.
Strike 3 looking. Maddie Best retired. Second time today. 9th punch out here for Katie Armstrong. I don't know what it was that I cannot say Lawrence County Mon Valley matchup. Possibility of that now 2 of those though.
Yeah.
As here's Julia Johnson, the freshman third baseman, struck out first time by the freshman. 9-hole spot in the order, trying to turn things around to the top of the order, and Carly Sukup fouls it off, strike 1. And it was in there, strike 2 on Johnson. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning, 2-0. Elizabeth forward leading Burrell. Here in the 2-3 matchup of the 4A semifinals, right side of the bracket. Winner gets either number 1 Beaver, number 5 Montour at Cal U on June 2nd. Johnson fouls it off to stay alive. Oh, and 2 the count here to Johnson.
See if Johnson can get one in play here.
Go 2. Outside, make it 1-2 here on Julia Johnson.
I will say Armstrong's just missing that outside corner there.
Johnson steps back in. The 1-2. Fouled off again. Johnson staying alive here. Lengthy AB against Katie Armstrong. The junior pitcher. 2 hits, 2 runs came across to score in the 3rd for EF. That's all she's allowed. Just 3 base runners. 2 hits as this one skied up. Home run on the elevator shaft in the infield and over the backstop as the count stays put. As I saw Mike Darnay ducking over there for his life. And he's under a tent too. One and 2 the count here on the freshman Johnson. 2 outs, nobody on, 2-0 EF leads. Pitch home and Johnson out to left, ranging in. Sterlitz and over is
Fair
Dinka,
ball.
and it's a fair ball. Dinka thought it was foul, so a little slow getting it in, and Johnson winds up at second with a 2-out double.
Another one of those little flares down the line, and the ball looked like it hit the line and hit off of Dinka's foot and rolled to the fence. We're going to get the courtesy runner for the catcher, Grimm.
That's going to be Alyssa Dula, the sophomore.
Oh, no, it's a pinch
Yeah,
runner.
it's
That's
gonna
right.
be a pinch runner.
I was lost. I thought Grimm was still up for some reason. I don't know why.
You said that, and I was sitting there. I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
Nah, it's been a while since I've been on a broadcast. I keep putting in my little scoring app here. I keep putting courtesy runner as well because obviously we'll see Johnson come back in and re-enter here. But
See if Sukup can get a big 2-out base knock to increase this lead up to 3. Swing and a miss, strike 1. As blowing it by her was Katie Armstrong. She's fanned Sukup twice. Once looking to start the game, once swinging. On the rubber, that's Armstrong. Armstrong rocks and deals. Swing and a miss. Sukup comes up empty again. See if Carly Sukup maybe shortens up and just,
put the ball in play.
yeah, make some contact. You never know what's going to happen. She's choking way up on that bat. You like to see that if you're the Warriors, I think. Nice, short, compact swing.
On the rise.
Once again, Sukup goes down swinging. 3rd time Carly's struck out in this game. Double digits once again for Katie Armstrong. So, in not even 2 full games, Armstrong, she struck out 31 batters. And through 5 full innings here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Trib Live High School Sports Network, your score is the Warriors 2 and the Buccaneers nothing.
Johnson will re-enter. Always appreciate it when the umpires let us know as well.
That makes our lives a heck of a lot easier. Coming over, sharing all of that. So Johnson back in, runner stranded at second for Elizabeth forward. Just their 3rd hit of the game. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 Warrior stranded. 2 chances left against Shelby Telegny for Burrell. EF trying to do what they were unable to do 1 season ago. And that's find a way to get to the WPIAL title game.
So it'll be Armstrong leading off here. And this is a big spot for Burrell. You want to try to get a run across, obviously, cut that lead in half. But, depending on how Talegdi sits them down, you're looking at possibly the bottom of the order coming up in a potential top of the 7th inning situation. So,
and it's a good part of the order up for EF next inning as well to try to
2, 3, 4.
expand upon their lead. The 1-0 to Armstrong, and that one's in the air out to center, ranging in Lauren Vey. First time the Warriors have recorded an outfield out here in this one. It took to the 6th inning on the F8. Only 2 flyouts to the outfield here in this first game.
Elizabeth Ford obviously hoping to make it to Cal U. They'll be excited for the same reason we are. That's the shortest trip of the playoffs they'll take.
3-0 Beaver, top 5 over Montour. Winner gets winner of that. Strike 1 here on Bella Stewart.
What was that score?
3-0 in the top of the 5th for the Bobcats.
And yeah, when you got Peyton List on the mound, that's pretty close to a sure thing.
Sometimes that's all you need. That one misses. 1-1 now on the right-handed hitting Bella Stewart. Reached on an E5 by Johnson, then grounded out to Johnson in the 4th. So Julia, I think, better be aware of things over at the hot corner. As that one goes the other way. As I was trying to switch the cameras and I opened up the internet. Not what I was trying to do.
Coach Rutherford kind of unhappy there that they couldn't have an attempt on the runner at first on that hard hit ball. Sukup was a little bit too deep.
So Stewart at first, 1 out, tying run at the plate in the form of Piper Ferris. Ferris 0 for 2. First pitch, strike 1. Ferris popped out to Brooke Markland for out number 2 in inning number 1. Also grounded out to Brooke Markland here in this one.
Now, do you think about, if you're Burrell, do you think about possibly putting Stewart in motion here, test the freshman behind the plate, and try to get somebody in scoring position?
As that one misses to even things up. And we also had the question, did you consider maybe sacrificing runner at scoring position with 2 down for Braylon Jones, who's hit the hardest ball out of any player either side in this game? As that one's a line foul down the third base line. Count goes 1-2. As Shelby Talegdi 1 strike away from out number 2 here this afternoon.
See what she comes up with here. Will we go rise? Will we go change? Or maybe something off the outside part of the plate? I mean, it's only 1-2. You got a pitch you could waste here.
As the righty digs back in. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Pitch by Talegdi, fouled off. First base side, count stays 1-2 on the right-handed hitting second baseman Piper Ferris. The righty digs back in again, Shelby Talegdi. Talegdi checking the signs on her arm. Rocks and deals the 1-2. That one evens up. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Piper Ferris, the freshman. Trying to cut into this 2-0 deficit here in the top of the 6th inning. The Warriors on top, 2 runs in the 3rd on back-to-back hits and a couple of Buccaneer errors. The 2-2 by Talegdi. In the air, left side, out of play onto the hillside once more.
I give Olivia Grimm a lot of credit back there behind the plate. She's one of the most active catchers we've seen all year. Even when that ball is not anywhere near where she's going to be, she's up, she's out, she's looking, to help her defense out. Even when the ball's out of play down the left field line.
As holding back on that one was Piper Ferris outside the zone. Count fills up. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. 2-0 Elizabeth Forward leads here in the top of the 6th inning. 4A semifinals. Beaver up 3-0 in the other one in the 5th. Pitch by Talegdi. That one's launched foul down the third base line, and the count stays full.
This will be the 9th pitch of this at bat. As Talegdi up to 72 pitches. Both pitchers pretty effective. Armstrong at 76 with 58 strikes, and Here's Talegdi with 72 with 51 strikes.
Another payoff pitch in the air, left side, and a diving
Missed it.
in and out of the glove attempt by Best. But holding up at first was Stewart.
We'll give her the hit on that. A great diving attempt there by Maddie Best.
And Stewart had to hold up at first, thinking that maybe Maddie Best was going to make that grab. It was in the glove, just the contact on the ground jarred it free.
Right.
But now it's 2 on with just 1 down here for Braylon Jones, and she's had the hardest hit ball of this game. 2-0 EF leads. Shelby Talegdi trying to keep it that way. Pitch by Talegdi, and that one's launched out towards the gap, ranging over is Best.
Great
and
job.
Best records out number 2. Great running grab by Maddie.
Great job there by Maddie Best. Instant shot at redemption. Scale ranging to her left and makes the running grab on the hard line drive.
Now here's Alana Miller, strikeout and ground out back to Talegdi here in this game. Shelby looking for the final out of this inning, trying to keep it a 2-run Warrior advantage to the home half of the 6th if she can get Miller here. First pitch fouled off the backstop, strike 1. Burrell gave up 2 runs on back-to-back hits in the 3rd innings. A single and then a 2-bag error, and then a double and a 2-bag error. Plating 2 Warrior runs, the 0-1 by Talegdi. Little chopper, third. Johnson up with it to Camiliano, throws a little low. Unable to get her throw home in time.
Oh, no. He originally had her called out, but Camiliano bobbled. We're going to go with an E5 on the throw. It was a little low.
So an E5 and then on the error coming in to score. Is Stewart from second. 2-1 here in inning number 6. Because originally the field umpire signaled out, then saw the ball juggling, changed it to safe, and almost able to get the runner Stewart at home was Gamiliano.
And that's kind of, I don't want to say it was a mistake because it was a tough low throw, but if Camiliano just tosses that ball to the mound, that was the 3rd out. You know, she kind of stood up to throw home, so she kind of gave it away that she didn't catch the ball.
As here comes Cassidy Novak. Tying run 60 feet away. 2-1 Warriors lead here, top of the 6th. An unearned run on Shelby Talegdi. We talked about how that's plagued the Warriors this year. That is now the 20th unearned run against Shelby Talegdi. Fouled off.
Novak singled her last time up, so she full of confidence up there in the box.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runners at the corners, 1 run in, 2-1 Warrior lead. Cassidy Novak trying to tie, rise up high, count goes even. Winner gets the winner of Beaver and Montour. Last check, 3-0 Beaver, top 5. Top 6 here, 2-1 EF. The pitch by Shelby Talegdi. That one misses, and now it's 3-1 to Novak. As Talegdi 1 pitch away from loading the bases, and I don't think Shelby was too happy with that last one.
Yeah, I thought she had that call as well. Got Abby Larco on deck, 0 for 1 here today.
As that one's fouled off, count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on, 1 in, 2-1 Elizabeth Forward on top of Burrell here in the top of inning number 6. Winner gets a chance at the WPIAL 4A Championship. Beaver up 3-0 top 5. As Beaver looking to defend their title, EF looking to get there after losing in the semis 1 year ago. Burrell trying to get there for the first time since 2011. Back in is Novak. As a few taps of the bat off the plate. Talegdi, the payoff pitch, struck her out! Shelby Talegdi blows it by Novak to keep things where they're at. It's 2-1 EF after 5.5. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left aboard. 5.5 in the books. And EF up by 1, looking for some insurance in the bottom of the 6th before the defense will get back to work.
I think that was nothing more than Shelby Telegdi saying, "Here it is, hit it if you can." It was a high. I think it would have caught the top of the strike zone there. High fastball, maybe a little bit of a rise on it, but I think it was a good challenge pitch there, and Novak fanned on it.
Katie Armstrong warming back up as she will face Vay, Telegdi, Smith. 2 runs in inning number 2 for the Warriors. A single by Smith advanced to third on the E9. Then an RBI double for Brooke Markland came around to score on the E7, making it 2-0 in favor of Elizabeth Ford. 1 unearned run in the top half, of inning number 6 as it's 2-1. Burrell finds themselves in another close contest. Bunt shown, foul off the backstop, strike 1. On Lauren Vay, leads the team in walks and runs scored. 3rd on the team in average this season, trying to start this inning the right way. Rise check. Count goes even on Lauren Vay.
Good job by Vay there to lay off that rise.
The 1-1 by Katie Armstrong to Vay. Vay shows bunt out to the first baseman. Novak to second in time as Ferris covers the first base bag and was able to beat out Lauren Vay for out number 1. So Novak to Ferris on the 3-4 retirement of Lauren Vay. And here comes Shelby Telegdi. Now Shelby, you said, kind of just took control during that last batter with runners to the corners. Can she do that here at the dish? Holds off for ball 1.
She's popped out twice, but just missed each pitch. So we'll see if she could square one up here.
Once to first, once to third. See if Telegdi can find the gap. Armstrong trying to keep it at a 1-run deficit. Fouled off. 1-1 now on Shelby Telegdi.
Yeah, she was looking to feast on that one. That might be the best pitch she sees in this at bat in terms of pitch location.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. 2-1 Warrior lead. As pulling the strings on that one was Armstrong. Groans to our left as Burrell wanted the call. They did not get it. That's a similar spot that I think Telegdi didn't get last inning, though.
Yeah, it looked about letter high. It was.
But I would agree. I thought both of those probably could have gone the way of the pitcher.
Yeah, for sure.
So no disagreement from my end. The 2-1, Telegdi fouls it off. Now, we've seen Telegdi take that high pitch and send it a long way this year.
Yeah, we have. That one, tell you what, that one she hit against Yakov Augustine. Man, that was just a rock at the right center field.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Katie Armstrong rocks and deals. Telegdi grounder out to short, across the diamond, and throwing it away was Dinka.
Another error, the 4th error of the game here on Burrell.
And E6 puts Shelby Telegdi at first with 1 out. And we're going to have a courtesy runner for the Warriors, as it's going to be the sophomore Caitlin Bloomer running for Shelby Telegdi. Actually, no, change that.
It's going to be Masisko. That's who usually runs for Telegdi.
That's who I thought it was, and then Bloomer was out in the dugout, of the dugout, I should say. So it is Masisko.
Now you got Grace Smith up. Great experience here in the box. Nobody better here for the Warriors.
Yeah, I think this is who you'd want up now, Smith and Markland. As Smith fouls it off, rattling the backstop for strike 1. Feel a lot more comfortable if you're EF, if you find a way to plate at least 1 more run here, give Telegdi a little bit of a cushion. It's 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Buccaneers. Combined 0 for 6 with a sacrifice bunt to the 3 batters ledger. Smith, chopper, stab down Armstrong to the shortstop for 1 on the first late. So it's a 1-6 fielder's choice. Retiring to Telegdy's courtesy runner Masiska. Now here's Markland trying to drive home Smith for the second time today. 1 on, 2 down, 2-1 Warrior lead here in the top of or bottom of inning number 6.
If you can get something in the gap here that the outfielders have to turn their backs to the infield to chase, you're gonna score Smith from first.
You're at least going to try it no matter what.
Absolutely. 2 outs, absolutely. That's a big insurance run.
Anything that touches the fence, most likely Smith will attempt to score. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, 1 on. 2-1 Warrior lead. As a little roller, left side. The shortstop Dinka on to first, not in time. Brooke Markland beats it out. It's an infield single for the senior. As the Warriors keep the inning going. Second hit of the game for Markland.
Yeah, coming off the bat, you could tell that was going to be a problem because Markland got very good speed. Now let's see if Gamiliano can bring in Smith there from second base with something in the grass.
Emiliano 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts, just looking to make contact and see if something good can happen. Swing and a miss, strike 1. You ought to feel like Armstrong has to have some confidence against Bella, who's been unable to really make any contact here in this one against the junior hurler.
I want to say she's only seen that being the 7th pitch. I think it was three pitches.
I believe you are correct, if I'm not mistaken. And there's 2 more swings and misses for Gamiliano, now down 0-2. 2 on, 2 out, 2-1 Warrior lead here in the home half of the 6th inning. Beaver leading, entering the 6th inning 3-0.
Well, she did see 4 pitches in her first at bat.
Struck her out looking. Back-to-back backwards Ks against Bella Gamiliano. 11 strikeouts for Katie Armstrong. As the Warriors strand a pair, no runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 left stranded. Do or die here in the top of the 7th for the Burrell Buccaneers. Larko, Siebert, and Dinka spots in the order, but again, Siebert out. That is actually, make sure I'm right, it's Sterlitz.
Sterlitz in left field now.
So that's Sterlitz spot in the order. And then Caroline Dinka. Those 3 spots that combined 0 for 6, 3 strikeouts, and 3 balls in the infield. Dinka's popped out and grounded out twice. Larka struck out once in a sac bunt. And then Siebert, 2 Ks.
Well, the biggest thing the last few innings, the Bucks have been able to make some contact. And some very good contact, but now it's just going to be the bottom of the order has to come through, and hopefully they have somebody on base that could get a little farther than Dinka in the into the lineup.
Yeah, you'd like to get back to Stewart's made hard contact a couple times. Yeah. Jones has made good contact. 1 unearned run so far against Shelby Telegdy.
If you're Telegdy, pound the zone here and have some trust in your defense behind you.
First pitch by Telegdy. Fouled off, strike 1. As Larko down 0-1 early on to Shelby Telegdy. 2-1 Warriors lead, bottom of the 7th. Winner on to the 4A championship game. Most likely will take on Beaver, as Beaver was leading last check. Telegdy toes the rubber. 0-1, 0-2, swing and a miss. 5 punch outs today for Shelby Telegdy, the sophomore. The junior Larko down 0-2. Telegdy checks the signs on the rubber. Gets the grip. The 0-2 by the sophomore right-hander. Rise up high. Count pulls 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody on, nobody out. 2-1 Warrior lead. 1-2 by Talegdi. Struck her out. Shelby Talegdi fans Lorco for the first out of the 7th. As we're going to see Raylan Siebert re-enter for Sterlitz. Shelby's had her number today.
As I can see right now, Beaver leading Montour 3-1, but the Spartans have a runner on second with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning.
We'll leave the game up here, so we'll be able to give you updates. As here is Raylan Siebert. Pitch by Talegdi. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Jeremy, you said coming to this inning, Shelby had to pound the strike zone. She's done just that. That one misses. Count goes 1-1.
That one, too, didn't miss by much. So,
But that's consistent, I would say, with the way it's worked today.
Yeah, for sure.
Both coaching staffs and both pitchers haven't been a fan, but it's been consistent. That's all you can ask for. As grounder, Markland on to Gamiliano. 2 up, 2 down. And Burrell down to their final out.
Great job on that hop there by Markland as it hopped back into her chest. You know you're going to get decent hops here on the turf infield, but it still kind of had her buckled a little bit there. And great job of fielding it to waist and sending a good throw over to Gamiliano at first for the second out. Now the pressure's on here for Dinka to try to continue the season here for Burrell. Well, not the season, as they will have another game regardless. But
anyone you'd want the senior. She takes strike 1. She's 0 for 3 today. The IUP commit. On base 3 times in the quarters against Bell Vernon.
And that's the thing here with nobody on base and 2 outs. If you're Talegdi, you could be a little bit more aggressive here.
That one outside. Count goes even. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on. Top 7. Number 2 EF 2. Number 3 Burrell 1. Winner into the 4A championship game. Talegdi checks the signs. The 1-1 by the sophomore. Fouled off, out of play, and Burrell down to their final strike. Time called. As Dinka, the final hope possibly for the 3rd-seeded Burrell Buccaneers. They've lost just 1 game all year. Shelby Talegdi and the Warriors trying to hand them loss number 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. 2-1 Elizabeth forward leads. Top of the 7th, 1 strike away from EF getting back to the championship game for the first time since 2019. The 1-2 by Talegdi. Fouled off. Pulled the strings, but Dinka stays alive.
And that's something we haven't seen much from Talegdi is that changeup today. But good job. Like, Dinka has made contact in every one of her bats. She's not going to go down easy. She's, assuming being the number 1 hitter, she's makes the best contact, doesn't strike out much. So we'll see what happens here.
Another 1-2 in the air. Johnson grabs it, and the Warriors back to the championship game. Shelby Talegdi goes 1-2-3 in the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. And EF back to the championship for the first time since 2019. Looking to get back on top of the 4A bracket as Elizabeth forward knocks off number 3 Burrell and the Warriors. Will look for their first championship since 2019, and they get a little bit of revenge, not against Burrell, but against the semifinals from a year ago. As last year they saw their season end here. This year they see it continue on. They'll be going to Cal U, and they're taking place in the 4A title game.
And undoubtedly, you don't. A lot of people probably didn't expect Elizabeth Forward to be at this spot. And here they are returning to the championship game with a pretty young team. And you have to be happy for Coach Rutherford. And, congratulate the Warriors on making it back to the golden round here, and then, regardless of what happens there, their season will not be over. They clinch a spot in the state playoffs. Will be either the number 1 or number 2 seed from the WPIAL. So
Burrell's season's not done as well. They will go to the consolation game trying to punch their ticket into the state playoffs, as we'll run down some final numbers for you. As a quick recap, EF scored 2 in the second. A single by Smith on the E9 advanced up to third base, and then it was Brooke Markland bringing her in an RBI double, and on the E7 plated a pair, making it 2-0 Warriors. That score would hold until the top of the 6th, as it was a 1-out single by Stewart, a single by Ferris, and then on the error, it cut the lead in half, 2-1 at that point. And Shelby Telegdi in the 7th, strikeout, ground out, and pop out the 3rd to end the contest for Burrell. 1 in the 6th. They had 1 run, 3 hits, 4 errors, 6 left on base. The loss goes to Katie Armstrong. EF 2 in the 2nd, and that's all they needed. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, 4 left on base. And the win goes to Shelby Telegdi. Shelby Telegdi is your player of the game, brought to you by your local State Farm agent, Brian Warnick. As Telegdi 1 run against, Fanning 6th. As the Warriors back to the 4A title game as they defeat Burrell here this afternoon. And Jeremy, a lot of fun as always, but we're going to step aside so we can get ready for game number 2.
Absolutely.
We'll have for you here on MVI Live's coverage of the WPIAL postseason on the Triple I High School Sports Network. It'll be the Commodores, the 2 seed versus the 6 seeded Old Chargers. So make sure you come back and join us. If not, have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody. Your final score, EF 2, Burrell 1. The Warriors back to the big dance in the 4A championship game.